it's hard. Okay, you can sit here, then you can go.
Okay. Maybe. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Harinam Sankirtan. See if I can get up. Should I read this head note as well?
What is it, the beginning of the chapter?
Well, yeah, it's from Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
I believe it's Madhya 7:154.
Oh,
Is that where the marker was?
no, I was told chapter 8, beginning chapter 8.
Oh, no, actually, she is correct. Yeah. That was the beginning of the previous one.
Oh, okay. So do I read this as well? The summary from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Amrita Pravaha Vasha. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda My instructions are to read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 8. Where's my bag? Is my bag over there? Oh, right here. Because I might be able to read it more easily on my iPad because
Small text.
old eyes. Yeah, I used to, when I would tell my students how to format their papers, I would tell them that the MLA standard is 1-inch margins on all 4 sides and 10 or 12 point text. Please, 12 point. You don't need to make it 18 point. This is how you turn a 2-page paper into a 3.5-page paper. That, and you squeeze the margins a little bit. And I would tell them, I'm not ready for large print books yet. I think I am now. Let's see if I can find it. True devotion. Madhya Lila. Ooh. So Srila Prabhupada begins the chapter with a headnote summarizing the chapter based on Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary, Amrita Prabhaha Bhashya. After visiting the temple of Jayata Nrsimha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the banks of the river Godavari to a place known as Vidyanagara. When Srila Ramananda Roy went there to take his bath, they met. After introducing himself, Sri Ramananda Roy requested Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to remain in the village for some days. Honoring his request, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed there in the home of some Vedic Brahmanas. In the evening, Srila Ramananda Roy used to come to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ramananda Roy, who was clothed in ordinary dress, offered the Lord respectful obeisances. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu questioned him on the object and process of worship, and also asked him to recite verses from the Vedic literature. First of all, Srila Ramananda Roy enunciated the system of the Varnashram institution. He recited various verses about karmarpana, stating that everything should be dedicated to the Lord. He then spoke of detached action, knowledge mixed with devotional service, and finally, spontaneous loving service of the Lord. After hearing Ramananda Roy recite some verses, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the principle of pure devotional service, devoid of all kinds of speculation. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Roy to explain the higher platform of devotional service. Then, Srila Ramananda Roy explained unalloyed devotional service, love of Godhead, and serving the Lord in moods of pure servitude, fraternity, and parental love. Finally, he spoke of serving the Lord in conjugal love. He then spoke of how conjugal love can be developed in various ways. This conjugal love attains its highest perfection in Srimati Radharani's love for Krishna. He next described the position of Srimati Radharani and the transcendental mellows of love of God. Srila Ramananda Roy then recited a verse of his own concerning the platform of ecstatic vision, technically called Prema Vilasa Vivarta. Srila Ramananda Roy also explained that all stages of conjugal love can be attained through the mercy of the residents of Vrindavan, especially by the mercy of the gopis. All these subject matters were thus vividly described. Gradually, Ramananda Roy could understand the position of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his real form, Ramananda Roy fell unconscious. What was that real form? What did it look like? Anybody remember? No, I think Ramananda Roy, I think he showed Radha himself as Radha Krishna. Showed Shadbhuj to Sarvabhauma and someone else. Yeah. I know a devotee in San Diego who has been given the care of a very beautiful Shadbhuj Murti, at least for a while. And she said, Maharaj, I have this Murti, but I don't understand. He has 6 arms. And I thought, oh, that's a really special form of the Lord. After some days, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Roy to retire from government service and come to Jagannath Puri. These descriptions of the meetings between Ramananda Roy and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are taken from the notebook of Swarup Damodar Goswami. Oh, I haven't read this verse for a long time. Text 1. Sanchaya Rama Bhida Bhakta Meghe Swabhakti Siddhanta Chayamritani Gaurabdhire Ramuna Vritirnais Tadgyatva Ratnalayatam Prayati. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is known as Gauranga, is the ocean of conclusive knowledge and devotional service. He empowered Sri Ramananda Roy, who may be likened to a cloud of devotional service. This cloud was filled with the water of all the conclusive purports of devotional service and was empowered by the ocean to spread this water over the sea of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Thus, the ocean of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became filled with the jewels of the knowledge of pure devotional service. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Prabhupada Ki Jai. His poetry is so sublime, the Sanskrit and the Bengali. And the Sanskrit is maybe the only, well, I don't know. I like Rupa Goswami's poetry as well. It's so full with all the ornaments of poetry. Text 2. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Chaitanya. I applaud your enthusiasm. All glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Charya. All glories to all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, and I'll skip the Bengali most of the time, unless I see a verse that really grabs me. According to his previous program, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went forward on his tour, and after some days arrived at the place of pilgrimage known as Jiyada Nursingha. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The Jiyada Nursingha temple is situated on the top of a hill about 5 miles away from Vishakhapatnam. There's a railway station on the South Indian Railway known as Singhachala. The temple known as Singhachala is the best temple in the vicinity of Vishakhapatnam. This temple is very affluent and is a typical example of the architecture of the area. On one stone tablet, it is mentioned that formerly a queen covered the deity with gold plate. This is mentioned in the Vishakhapatnam Gazetteer. About the temple, there are residential quarters for priests and devotees. Indeed, at the present moment, there are many residential quarters to accommodate visiting devotees. The original deity is situated within the depths of the temple, but there is another deity, a duplicate, known as the Vijayamurti. This smaller deity can be moved from the temple and taken on public processions. Priests who generally belong to the Ramanuja Sampradaya are in charge of the deity worship. 4. Upon seeing the deity of Lord Nrsimha in the temple, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered his respectful obeisances by falling flat. Then, in ecstatic love, he performed various dances, chanted, and offered prayers. Shri Nrsimha Jaya Nrsimha Jaya Jaya Nrsimha Parladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa. All glories to Lord Nrsimhadev. All glories to Nrsimhadev, who is the Lord of Prahlad Maharaj, and like a honeybee, is always engaged in beholding the lotus-like face of the goddess of fortune. Purport. The goddess of fortune is always embraced by Lord Nrsimhadev. This is mentioned in the commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, written by the great commentator Srila Sridhar Swami. The following verse was composed by Sridhar Swami in his commentary on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 1087.1. 87. Prayers by the personified Vedas, I think, right? Vagisha yasya varane lakshmir yasya chavakshasi yasyaste hridaya samvittam nrsingham mahang bhaje. Lord Nrsingadev is always assisted by Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and he is always embracing the goddess of fortune to his chest. The Lord is always complete in knowledge within himself. Let us offer obeisances unto Nrsingadev. Is there water? I'm afraid my voice isn't going to make it.
Make it to when?
I don't know, whenever you make me stop. Similarly, in his commentary on the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the first verse, Sridhar Swami describes Lord Nrsingadev in this way. Pralada hridaya hladam bhakta vidya vidaranam sharadindu ruching vande parindra varanam harim. Let me offer my obeisances unto Lord Nrsingadev, who is always enlightening Prahlad Maharaj within his heart, and who always kills the nescience that attacks the devotees. His mercy is distributed like moonshine, and his face is like that of a lion. Let me offer my obeisances unto him again and again. And another verse. Ugropi anugrahave evayam swabhaktanam nrkeshari Keshariva svapotanam anyesham ugra vikramaha. Although very ferocious, the lioness is very kind to her cubs. Sometimes we talk about, the lion taking down an elephant. He doesn't hunt, she hunts. She's the provider. The lioness is the one who does the hunting. So very ferocious. Very kind to her cubs. Similarly, although very ferocious to non-devotees like Hiranyakashipu, Lord Nrsingadev is very, very soft and kind to devotees like Prahlad Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada says, this verse was composed by Sridhar Swami in his commentary on the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 791. Text 7. In this way, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited different verses from the Shastra. The priest of Lord Nrsingadev then brought garlands and the remnants of the Lord's food and offered them to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Oh, thank you. As usual, a Brahmana offered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu an invitation. The Lord passed the night in the temple and commenced his tour again. The next morning, in great ecstasy of love, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started on his tour with no knowledge of the proper direction, and he continued the whole day and night. As previously, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted to Vaishnavism many people he met on the road. After some days, the Lord reached the banks of the river Godavari. When he saw the river Godavari, the Lord remembered the river Jamuna, and when he saw the forest on the banks of the river, he remembered Sri Vrindavan Dham. After performing his usual chanting and dancing for some time in this forest, the Lord crossed the river and took his bath on the other bank. After bathing in the river, the Lord walked a little distance from the bathing place and engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna. At that time, accompanied by the sounds of music, Ramananda Roy came there on a palanquin to take his bath. Many brahmanas following the Vedic principles accompanied Ramananda Roy. According to the Vedic rituals, Ramananda Roy took his bath and offered oblations to his forefathers. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand that the person who had come to bathe in the river was Ramananda Roy. The Lord wanted so much to meet him that his mind immediately began running after him. Remember that Mahaprabhu had been recommended to introduce himself to Ramananda Roy if he had the opportunity on his travels. And when the Lord understood that Ramananda Roy was here, he couldn't wait to meet him. Oh, really? Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was running after him mentally, he patiently remained sitting. Ramananda Roy, seeing the wonderful sannyasi, then came to see him. Srila Ramananda Roy then saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be as brilliant as 100 suns. The Lord was covered by a saffron garment. He was large in body and very strongly built, and his eyes were like lotus petals. When Ramananda Roy saw the wonderful sannyasi, he was struck with wonder. He went to him and immediately offered his respectful obeisances, falling down flat like a rod. The Lord stood up and asked Ramananda Roy to arise and chant the holy name of Krishna. Indeed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very eager to embrace him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then inquired whether he was Ramananda Roy. And he replied, "Yes, I am your very low servant, and I belong to the Shudra community." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Sri Ramananda Roy very firmly. Indeed, both the master and the servant almost lost consciousness due to ecstatic love. Their natural love for each other was awakened in them both, and they embraced and fell to the ground. Purport. Srila Ramananda Rai was an incarnation of the Gopi Vishakha. Since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Lord Sri Krishna himself, there was naturally an awakening of love between Vishakha and Krishna. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the combination of Srimati Radharani and Krishna, and the Gopi Vishakha is a principal gopi assisting Srimati Radharani. Thus, the natural love between Ramananda Roy and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu awakened, and they embraced. When they embraced each other, ecstatic symptoms, paralysis, perspiration, tears, shivering, paleness, and standing up of bodily hairs appeared. The word Krishna came from their mouths falteringly. When the stereotyped ritualistic brahmanas who were following the Vedic principles saw this ecstatic manifestation of love, they were struck with wonder. All these brahmanas began to reflect as follows. The brahmanas thought, "We can see that this sannyasi has a luster like the effulgence of Brahman. But how is it he is crying upon embracing a Shudra, a member of the fourth caste in the social order?" They thought, this Ramananda Roy is the governor of Madras, a highly learned and grave person, a Mahapundit, but upon touching this sannyasi, he has become restless like a madman. While the brahmanas were thinking in this way about the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw those outsiders and restrained his transcendental emotions. Purport. Ramananda Roy was intimately related to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, he can be accepted as Sajatiya, a person within the intimate circle of the Lord. Jata has to do with kind, with birth, with family. So Sajatiya means he was part of Lord Chaitanya's group. when in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in the second chapter of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, when Srila Rupa Goswami mentions among the 64 angas of sadhana bhakti, the association of devotees, he says, he gives 3 qualifications for the kind of association we should seek. The first is sajati ashaye. In other words, someone from your own group, from your own family. Someone who generally shares your spiritual aspirations. The second is snigdhe, affectionate. And the third is svatovade. Svata means self, has to do with ourself. And vada means superior. So we want association that shares our spiritual sentiments, is affectionately disposed toward us, and is more advanced than we are. So that's why I came here. I came here for your association as well as Giriraj Swami's, looking for affectionate devotees who are more advanced and who can help me on my path. The Brahmanas, however, were followers of the Vedic rituals and were not able to have an intimate connection with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Consequently, they are called Vijatiya Loka. In other words, they were not pure devotees. One may be a highly learned Brahmana, but if he is not a pure devotee, he is Vijatiya, an outcast, one outside devotional service. In other words, a non-devotee. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai were embracing in ecstasy, the Lord restrained his transcendental emotions upon seeing the outsider Brahmanas. When they regained their sanity, what is the word? Sustahaya. Once they settled down, but I love Srila Prabhupada's translation. When they regained their sanity, they both sat down, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and began to speak as follows. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya spoke of your good qualities, and he made a great endeavor to convince me to meet you. Indeed, I have come here just to meet you. It is very good that even without making an effort, I have gotten your interview here. Ramananda Rai replied, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya thinks of me as his servant. Even in my absence, he's very careful to do me good. By his mercy, I have received your interview here. Consequently, I consider that today I have become a successful human being. I can see that you have bestowed special mercy upon Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Therefore, you have touched me, although I am untouchable. This is due only to his love for you. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana himself, and I am only a government servant interested in materialistic activities. Indeed, I am the lowest among men of the fourth caste. You do not fear Vedic injunctions stating that you should not associate with a Shudra. You were not contemptuous of my touch, although in the Vedas you are forbidden to associate with Shudras. Srila Prabhupada's purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Mam hi parthavyapashritya yepi syu papayoneha shriyo vaishas tata shudras tepi yanti parangatim. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, as well as Shudras, can attain the supreme destination. The word papayonia means born into a lower class. According to the Vedic system of classification, women, Vaishyas, and Shudras belong to a lower social order. A low life means a life without Krishna consciousness. High and low positions in society are calculated by considering a person's Krishna consciousness. A Brahmana is considered on the highest platform because he knows Brahman, the absolute truth. Brahmajanatiti Brahmana, right? We understand someone's a Brahmana by their understanding of the absolute truth. The second caste, the Kshatriya caste, also know Brahman, but not as well as the Brahmanas. The Vaishyas and Shudras do not clearly understand God consciousness, but if they take to Krishna consciousness by the mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master, they do not remain in the lower castes, papayonia. It is clearly stated, tepi yanti param gatim. Unless one has attained the highest standard of life, one cannot return home back to Godhead. One may be a Shudra, Vaishya, or woman, but if one is situated in the service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness, one should not be considered Stri, Shudra, Vaishya, or lower than Shudra. We heard from someone the other night that when one of his disciples said that she wasn't allowed to do some service because she was a woman, I think the description was that Srila Prabhupada was startled. I guess he was startled that she would be judged according to her body rather than her heart, rather than her consciousness. Though a person may be from a low-born family, if he's engaged in the Lord's service, he should never be considered to belong to a low-born family. The Padma Purana forbids vikshate jati samanyat sayati narakam dhruvam. A person goes to hell quickly when he considers a devotee of the Lord in terms of birth. Although Ramananda Roy supposedly took birth in a Shudra family, he's not to be considered a Shudra, for he was a great advanced devotee. Indeed, he was on the transcendental platform. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore embraced him. Out of spiritual humility, Sri Ramananda Roy presented himself as a Shudra. Rajasevi Vishayi Shudra Dharma. Even though one may engage in government service or in any other pound, shilling, pence business, in short, in materialistic life, he need only take to Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is a very simple process. One need only chant the holy names of the Lord and strictly follow the principles forbidding sinful activity. In this way, one can no longer be considered an untouchable, a Vishayi, or a Shudra. One who is advanced in spiritual life should not associate with non-devotees, namely, men in government service and men engaged in materialistic activity for sense gratification, or in the service of others. Such men are considered Vishayi, materialistic. It is said, Niskinchana Bhagavad Bhajanon Mukasya Param Param Jiga Mishor Bhavasagarasya Sandarshanam Vishayana Matayoshitamcha Ha Hanta Hanta Vishabhakshanatao Pyasadhu. A person who's very seriously engaged in cultivating devotional service with a view to crossing the ocean of nescience, and who has completely abandoned all material activities, should never see a Shudra, a Vaishya, or a woman. Text 37. Wow. I'm shocked. Even with purports, we seem to be steaming. Pedal to the metal. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. Therefore, no one can understand your purpose. By your mercy, you are touching me. although this is not sanctioned by the Vedas. Purport. A sannyasi is strictly forbidden to see the Vishayis, the materialistic people. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of his boundless and causeless mercy, could show favor to anyone, regardless of birth and position. 38. You've come here specifically to deliver me. You are so merciful that you alone can deliver all fallen souls. Purport. Srila Narottam Das Thakur sings in his Prarthana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Kora More Toma Vina Ke Doyalu Jagat Sangsare Patita Pavana Hetu Taba Avatar Mo Sama Patita Prabhu Na Paibe Ar. My dear Lord, please be merciful to me. Who can be more merciful than your lordship within these three worlds? You appear as an incarnation just to reclaim the conditioned fallen souls, but I assure you that you will not find a soul more fallen than me. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's specific mission is to deliver fallen souls. Of course, in this age of Kali, there's hardly anyone who is not fallen according to the calculations of Vedic behavior. In his instructions to Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described the so-called followers of the Vedic religion in this way. Veda nishta madhya arkeha veda mukhe mane, veda nishiddha pape kode dharma nahi gone. So-called followers of Vedic principles simply accept the Vedas formally, but they act against Vedic principles. This is symptomatic of this age of Kali. People claim to follow a certain type of religion, saying formally, I am Hindu, I'm Muslim, I am Christian, I am this or that. But actually, no one follows the principles enunciated in religious scriptures. This is the disease of this age. Therefore, the merciful Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has simply advised us to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. The Lord can deliver anyone and everyone, even though one may have fallen from the injunctions of the revealed scriptures. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special mercy. Consequently, he's known as Patita Pavana, the deliverer of all fallen souls. We go to 8:30, is that right? Yeah. Okay. Text 39. It is the general practice of all saintly people to deliver the fallen. Therefore, they go to the people's houses, although they have no personal business there. Purport. A sannyasi is supposed to beg from door to door. He does not beg simply because he is hungry. His real purpose is to enlighten the occupant of every house by preaching Krishna consciousness. A sannyasi does not abandon his superior position and become a beggar just for the sake of begging. Similarly, a person in householder life may be very important, but he may also voluntarily take to the mendicant way of life. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami were ministers, but they voluntarily accepted the mendicant's life in order to humbly preach Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message. It is said about them, Tyaktva Tornamashesha Mandalapati Shrenim Sadatut Chavat Bhutva Dina Ganesha Kau Korunaya Kaupina Kantashrita. Although the Goswamis were very aristocratic, on the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they became mendicants just to deliver the fallen souls. One should also consider that those who engage in the missionary activities of the Krishna consciousness movement are under the guidance of of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are not actually beggars. Their real business is to deliver fallen souls. Therefore, they may go from door to door just to introduce a book about Krishna consciousness so that people can become enlightened by reading. Back in the early 70s, I guess end of 1969, beginning of 71, some devotees at a couple of temples tried sending devotees in pairs out door to door to preach. And we heard about this in Honolulu, and so I think it was probably February of 71. We decided to make an experiment. And our temple president, Gaur Sundar, sent Turiyadas Brahmachari, another Brahmachari named Sai, who later became Siddha Swarupananda Goswami, and me around our neighborhood in Manoa Valley near the University of Hawaii to see what would happen. And these were our neighbors. So maybe some of them might not have been very happy about our presence, but they were very kind and very gracious. Some invited us into their homes. And so we made this part of our regular program. In the morning we would go downtown Honolulu to the Fort Street Mall to chant. We would go out for 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon, door to door, in pairs. And then in the evenings, we would go to Waikiki to have some kirtan. So this going door to door, and as it turned out, many people invited us into their homes to ask us questions. They took books. They shared, they gave us water or milk or fruit. And very importantly, let us use their bathrooms, because we were out wandering around for a couple, 3 hours in a neighborhood. And they were very, very kind. And we found that some of the most generous people, because we would just beg, we wouldn't ask them for money. If they took some books, we might ask them, for money for the cost of printing. But quite often we would just ask for a little rice or certain neighborhood. Of course, there were certain neighborhoods that we would make sure we visited according to the season. One neighborhood of Honolulu, just the other side of the university, Kaimuki, had a lot of mango trees. So during mango season, late spring and into the summer, we would go door to door in Kaimuki, even if we had been there the year before, because the people were very generous with they had more mangoes than they could give away. I mean, we wouldn't even have to ask. They would leave bags or boxes of mangoes on the wall in front of their homes. A lot of people have rock walls made of lava stones. And so most of the brahmacharis gained weight during mango season, gained at least a few pounds. Breakfast was a sort of a contest to see how many mangoes we could eat in half an hour and still make it on time to Srimad Bhagavatam class. Although the Goswamis were very aristocratic, on the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they become mendicants just to deliver the fallen souls. One should also consider, okay, I got that already. Therefore, they may go door to door just to introduce a book about Krishna consciousness so that people can become enlightened by reading. Formerly, brahmacharis and sannyasis used to beg from door to door. And at the present moment, especially in the Western countries, a person may be handed over to the police if he begs from door to door. In Western countries, begging is considered criminal. Members of the Krishna consciousness movement have no business begging. Instead, they work very hard to introduce some literatures about Krishna consciousness so that people can read them and be benefited. But if one gives some contribution to a Krishna conscious man, he never refuses it. Okay, it's 8:30 and this looks like a good place to stop. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Panchakalpatarubhishta